Hello everyone, welcome back to Divide and Conquer. It is episode 43 of our Rohan campaign, now recorded in stunning 60 FPS. If you have any thoughts on that, if you appreciate the better quality, then let me know. I'm still considering it. Now, we have available to us a guild, a pole turners guild, which contrary to popular belief is not a brothel. That is not a code name for a brothel, but I can imagine with the weird guild system that there was indeed a conspiracy that the Pole Turners Guild was all an administrative cover for a brothel. I can imagine that happening. You know, like, what the fuck is a pole turner? Or like a strip club or something. And people are just insisting, like, it's the people that make spears. And you're like, I don't know, it sounds like the liberal elites are trying to fucking take our jobs. Okay, we're going to actually accept that. Alright. We have fucking no money because I've got all of my cavalry out and about. And, it's just sucking my treasury dry like a fucking trophy wife. We've built some standing stones in Dunird, finally. We got some crumbling columns back from fucking Hornburg, I guess, and we just slapped them down around a fountain around Dunird, and we're like, wow, culture! And we've also upgraded Lond Angren, and again, they're building standing stones there. And we are beginning our economic reforms, building grain exchanges and marketplaces all across the land. Most importantly, though, we have built a new barracks in Hornburg, which allows us to recruit the arid heavy footmen, which I don't think is the... Is that the final incarnation of the barracks? It is indeed. So we do get Yorling Axemen. That's... Oh, no. There's, like, two-handed Axemen somewhere. Rittermark Axemen. That is in Edoras. Okay, I do vaguely remember someone mentioning good infantry coming out of Hornburg. Now, whether they're referring to Northmen or perhaps dwarves, still unclear. All I know is that we can now recruit Yorid heavy footmen from the Hornburg, and that is basically as good as it's going to get. In Karis, we have recruited yet another 2 units of fort infantry, which we are going to send up north. Alright. Now, we are still being opposed sort of half-assedly by the Dunlendings on the bridge of the river, which I shall dub Gamma. The Gamma River. Still being blocked by Dunland, but I can't imagine it's going to be contested too much longer. Now, speaking of rivers, Adunaphel, for some reason, has refused to cross the Isen River, I would say. And he has, I don't know, he's just chilling, like a villain, on the eastern bank. And it's very awkward because I'm on the west bank. And I really need to destroy those illegal settlements. No, we're going to march our cavalry up towards Isengard in the vain hope that they can assist our infantry in Isengard. At one point we had more men in Isengard, but we kind of... Well, I say we, but really I fully shoulder the blame and responsibility myself. I personally thought that we would not need that much more infantry in Isengard because we would always have cavalry close at hand. And boy, did I fuck it up. I fucked it up. So we may have some issues there, though I sincerely doubt it. What else is going on? We may as well besiege Bairdvin. Build a couple rams, because that seems that's all we can build. 3 of them, anyway. We will roll these ballistas into the siege camp. Eomer will act as reinforcements for our bro here. All of his riders will back him up, hopefully. And this infantry doesn't look like they're going to be able to join his army, but at the very least they can join Eomer. There we go. Alright, we have some Dunlendings just chilling on the river for no particular... I guess maybe that's just their strategy. They're like, just garrison every crossing on the Gamma River. That would be great. More men, more women as well, if you don't mind. And less children. Basically, it's just a complete total fuckfest on the Gamma River. Because it's like an adult-only walled... I wanted to say walled settlement because I'm looking at towns, but like a gated community. Just like 30 plus. Complete fuckfest going on. Okay. With our diplomats... Oh man, this music is... Oh, it's very soft, very gentle. It's hard to swear and talk about a gated community consisting solely of swingers when you're listening to such a soundtrack, but I will certainly try my best to accomplish such a feat. Leowine's still en route. I'm not really sure what to do with this guy now. I don't really know. I see we still have a gap in our map because of the orcs of the Misty Mountains. I nearly yawned there. I apologize. God, I ramble so much I bore even myself. I suppose we could go and talk to the Easterlings in the Plains of Sorrow. Oh god. It reminds me of the Shivering Isles. It really does. You have mania, dementia, and the Plains of Sorrow. It would fit right in. Okay, we may as well have Leowine head south to talk to those assholes. Speaking of the south, we still have Leonir over here. And he is going to, at the very least, attempt to diagnose what has happened to Dolamroth. Is it a cancer? Is it, I don't know, tachycardia? Any other House MD terms? It's not lupus, we know that for sure. I think that is all for this turn. We may as well continue. Alright, what's new, pussycat? Let me tell you. We have some cash. Money in the bank. New family member by the name of Egfrid. Herobrand, fresh from his marriage, has gained a biographer. I'm pretty sure Herobrand is like 13 years old. What does he have to write about? What does he have to write about? Look at this. With the mention of House MD, the man himself has shown up. Doctor Gamling, apparently, is in need of medical assistance. You know what? In the break, I was thinking about all of the House MD episodes. House, the very first few seasons, are actually really good. And were for a long time, it was for a long time, I should say, my favorite show. And then it got really stupid, like a lot of shows. And for some reason, when I was trying to think of, you know, like the diseases or the terms they always use, like, I don't know, myocardial infarction, that kind of shit. I don't think myocardial is correct, but you get my drift. When I was thinking of terms, all I could think of was Munchausen's, which is like a syndrome where someone, if you're not aware, oh man, the Vale of Dorwinion, after like 3 or 4 turns has already ceased hostilities with the Shadow of Mirkwood. Apparently they were just completely fucking terrifying. Munchausen's is a syndrome where someone, like basically they're attention seeking in a way, but they seek the attention of medical professionals. So this is someone who, like there's a word for this as well, someone who thinks they're sick all of the time, but I can't quite recall what that term is. But basically, it's like attention-seeking behavior, so someone with Munchausen's may feign sickness in order to be taken care of by nurses and whatnot. This is my recollection from, like, I don't want to say House MD taught me this, but it's one of those things where you watch a show with something in it, and then you know, read about that thing in the show, and this is one of those things, Munchausen syndrome. But then it also gets more intense because there's Munchausen's by proxy, where a parent or someone may project their syndrome onto another person, so they're seeking that medical attention, but they use the person in their life as the tool to achieve it. So I think the classic example is like a parent with their child. They always, you know, make they gaslight the child basically into thinking they're sick, and they go to the hospital and they convince the doctors that their child is sick, and the child is convinced they're sick. So it's just this weird like mental health issue. And that's the end of that tangent. I don't think that is entirely correct, so please, if that is something that you were not aware of and you just learned about it, please look it up. Preferably on something a little more... Well, I was just about to shit on Wikipedia, but let's be honest, Wikipedia is... Those assholes on Wikipedia, like the editors, my fucking god, they live on those pages and they fucking edit them so much. Especially if it's something particularly controversial, like Gamergate. You know, you can actually read the chats behind certain pages, and you can read like what the editors are saying to each other. And boy, some of the pages, like the Gamergate page especially, it's like fucking, what the fuck is going on here? Okay, I've just built a complete crap ton of grain exchanges across the realm, and I just want to make sure that I'm not really missing out on much else. We can build one in Gind. I don't know what that's going to accomplish. Well, 30 gold may as well do. And then we have a bit more gold left, enough to build one in Keras, which is going to increase trade by 25, something like that, whatever it was. If we were to build one in Lond Angren, though, or increase and upgrade the market, it would be a small return on investment. I think Lond Angren is actually pretty poor. You know, I mean, it has a port and everything, but it's just not at all what you would expect. If I look at my settlements, the most wealthy cities are Edoras and Dunlastyr. Landlocked, they're not even that populous. I mean, Dunlastyr has very few people in it. The income is really a mystery here. I'm not entirely sure why it is something like Alkford is making so much money when the population is so low. Well, rather so high, I guess. But Dunlastyr is making the same amount. Well, it seems like Dunlastyr actually is making a shit ton of money in trade. I take it all back. I'm just musing wildly, filling the time. Once these 2 units arrive, we will push across the river. We are going to... Shit, we could actually siege out Barad Vin pretty easily. It's only 3 turns until those guys just give up. And I am more than happy to do that. But we're going to send more infantry their way regardless. We have 4 units en route. 2 units of archers. There are currently, what, 2 in the army? So we'll have 4 in total. 3 spearmen, 3 axemen, something like that. Plus whatever Rohirrim we have. Okay, now as for Swidhelm, there are still no mercenaries. Although we could get some wildmen eventually for Aldwulf if it's necessary. Now, Suderi is 800 people shy of upgrading. Unfortunately, none of this stuff is going to affect the population growth, so it's just going to have to continue chugging along as it is. I'm pretty sure that the vast majority of our towns have just upgraded. Well, actually, Dunneard is quite close to upgrading as well. But I mean, like, Ginneard, I think, just upgraded. Bregness just upgraded as well, I think. What about Gind? Gind is far away. Durwath is plenty far as well. Let's just take a quick... Actually, Folberg is pretty close, but I mean, 1% growth is pretty... That's pretty slow. Hornburg, pretty... Hornburg is never going to upgrade. Edoras is apparently at max growth. Dunharrow and Rochburg, both very low in population, very far away from upgrading. Yeah, it's pretty abysmal, rather, unless it is Sudery and Dunneard. Those are close. Now, there's one thing I noticed while I was clicking through there, but then I immediately... Oh, yes, it's the fact that Adunaphel is taking his sweet goddamn time and is, for some reason, refusing to besiege Isengard outright. I guess it seems to me that he is accumulating troops, perhaps.
Yes, my lord.
I think it's going to be up to Derngar to turn the tide here. There's certainly not enough troops in Isengard. I don't have enough cavalry. Yeah, I kind of fucked this up, to be honest. It's gonna have to be decided on the battle map, most definitely. Oopsie daisy. That is, if they decide to attack at all, which I'm not confident about at this point. It doesn't seem likely. They're just taking their sweet time. Much like Framgar, when he meets some really handsome men on the road, he's just like, oh, I don't see any reason why I can't just make camp here, you know? Okay. Yeah, Dolemroth, probably, I assume they've been overrun by the Haradrim, much like my Mordor campaign. Unfortunately, it seems that they are running fucking buck wild over here too, which is quite unfortunate, but let's end the turn, see what happens. Oh shit! An Umbarim fleet on the move. Rumors have spread from the coasts of Middle-earth of a large fleet of black-sailed warships heading much farther north than ever seen in the Third Age. Oh no. Say it ain't so. Looked to me like it said they were sailing for Mithlond. And I actually don't know where that is. I thought this was it, but it's actually Mithrast. Where in the world is Mithrond? I really should have read that. Oh well. The Vale of Dorwinion just apparently bowing out of every single military conflict they can. They're just completely... They're big old PU-55Ys, and they really don't want anything to do with the wars of the world. We've built some more stones and a port in Londare, which... I don't really know if that... Is that giving us a lot of money, or... See, imports, here we go. Well, we are exporting to Belorn for 130. I can't really say whether that was worth it or not. I get the feeling that we were trading by sea already. But that is probably incorrect, actually, now that I look at everything we have. Okay, no, in fact, we are... These are new trade routes. Okay, settlement besieged, Isengard by the Shadow of Mirkwood. It is Adunaphel the Quiet himself. He has arrived with simultaneously a full stack, but only 3/4 of a stack. And we have half a stack in the place itself. Very few archers.
Yes, my lord.
I don't know if this is enough cavalry to turn the tide. Let's see. Well, actually, it very well could be, because these are all orc looters, which are light infantry, and they just get fucking plowed by our cavalry. Mostly our general, but also our Rohan riders. Now, they brought a couple interesting units with them. Mirkwood Uruk blades. That's a very elaborate way of saying Uruks with fucking swords. Mirkwood stalkers. Just a complete band of neckbeards who don't know anything about social interaction and personal boundaries. Now, Onadrith has yet again been besieged. This time it's 2 units of pikes and a unit of Mirkwood Uruk blades. I can't imagine that is going to be too hard to defeat. If only I had some missile units, some horse archers would do. And it looks to me like we can afford 2 units of horse archers, right? Right? Why not? 2 turns? Is that... That's going to be far too slow, I think. But at the very least... Do we have any forts on this side of Rohan? That is a complete shame. It's a sham is what it is. Maybe I could stick them in an Edoras? Right? No, because I'm paying for these fucking militiamen. Well, at the very least, I will stick these 2 units I'm recruiting, put them in Edoras because it's... Or I could just stick them straight in Onadrith, to be honest. It looks like we're going to have to deal with petty incursions by orcs of all different denominations. Catholics, Protestants, Anglicans, you know, all that shit. People who ring your doorbell for no good fucking reason. I'm just kidding. We all know it's like the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witnesses and whatnot. I gotta say, I don't think I've ever met a member of the Anglican Church in my entire life. I could be very wrong. Maybe it's one of those things, you know, like, it's not something that someone would really identify with. You know, like... I could very well say I've never met anyone who's a fan of F1 racing, you know? But maybe it's just something that people don't mention. Much like someone being the... a member of, like, an Anglican church. Maybe it's something that they wouldn't necessarily share immediately. You never know. You never know. Speaking of never knowing, I never know what to do with Suderi and Lond Dire. It seems like there's not much we can do. So I'm going to ignore them and continue.
My lord.
We are still many moons away from opening talks with our dwarven friends yet again. And, god damn it, Framgar has met up with a handsome devil by the name of Tommy on the road to Erdluin, and he's just completely... He's really a sick man, you know?
Yes, my lord.
He sees an honest Tommy on the road, and he's just like fucking salivating. His hands are shaking with excitement. It's just all sorts of fucked up. You see an honest Tommy on the road, and you think, where is Jerry? That was a horrible joke. I tried to make like a, you know, Tommy, Jerry, World War II, you know, kind of reference, and it fell really flat. Well, I think we can actually... I feel like after such a defeat of a joke, after that complete flop, it's better that we end this sooner rather than later. 25 minutes seems like more than enough Rohan for me, and I think it's more than enough Rohan for you as well. So, thank you everyone for watching. When we come back, we will... push on towards Dunlarock. I'm probably going to destroy some of these smaller forces off camera, if I have time. I definitely want to fight this battle on camera because, oh boy, it's a lot of fun just running down, or more accurately, riding down all of those orc looters. And we will continue to starve out the men in Baradvin. Once we complete that siege, I wonder... I think we will probably continue up towards Tharbad. Swidhelm can capture Byrig.
My lord.
Although there is a pretty large city here as well.
Quietly.
Ostianettle. With 0 troops inside. That's not so bad. Couple forts that we can occupy though. 3 forts. 4 if you count this one, so if I were to bring up... No, fuck, 5 actually. So we have a couple places to stash troops if necessary, is what I'm saying. Anyway, everyone, thank you for watching. As always, my name is Incoherence. This has been Divide and Conquer version 1.0, I believe. Still many versions behind. I guess I completely lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I will see you guys later.